Good morning. This is Fran. You're muted as the session host. If that's Jonathan, we can't hear you.
Are you muted, Liz?
No, I have it on the, can they hear now?
Now we can, yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I'm glad that she said that so we didn't have to miss anything. If you missed the intro there because we were muted, Jonathan Olshan, Twitter, feel free to give me a follow. Feel free to tweet out today. I'm STC. For those that are just joining us, I have a presentation in our speaker notes. This is in the speaker, the presentation hub there, but you're welcome to grab a screenshot of that right now as well if you didn't already get it. So that will just be, that's a Canva Edu QR code that's going to give you access to all of these slides. All right, so just a heads up about the session flow today. Folks, I'm really excited to be here because honestly, Canva is one of my absolute favorite tools the last year. For so many reasons, it's free, it's amazing. We're gonna cover a ton of stuff with Canva, but just to give you an idea of how this session's gonna go, give you a little background about myself. We're gonna discuss on one slide why we should use Canva, so in case you're not sold, you'll be sold immediately. We're gonna take a look at tons of the amazing templates. We're gonna look at some editing tips. We're gonna look at how you can app smash this with a bunch of other different apps and web-based programs. If you haven't signed up for a free Canva Edu premium account, I'm going to show you how to do that. If you're already in there, great, but I'll at least put those instructions up there pretty early so you can get in and start playing. We're going to just briefly look at how to assign Canva templates for individual and collaborative use in Google Classroom, as well as potentially other LMSs, but later on in session 3, I know Liz is certainly going to cover that. And then I'm hoping that the bulk of our time can be used to actually explore Canva Edu, brainstorm project ideas. This works across the curriculum. That's why I called it Design Across the Curriculum. Regardless of what you teach, you can find something to use with Canva Edu. So let's dive into it. Okay, so just a little background about myself. I'll keep it short and sweet, but just so you know, this is like my street cred where I'm coming from. I've been a K-12 tech coach for the last 3 years. But for about 9 years, I was a 7th through 12th grade ELA and broadcasting teacher. So I taught middle school, high school. I'm a Google certified trainer and Apple teacher. I tell you that because our school predominantly uses Google and Apple. Canva works really well with that. So even if you're not the Google Apple school, there's other great uses for it, but it works really well for us. KTI, I presented over there, and I joined up KTI 2017, and I presented at some other conferences as well. So just so you know where I'm coming from and why I've used this throughout my career and how amazing it is just to get to that. So let's talk about why should we use Canva. How many of you are familiar with the pyramid? Look, creating, it's at the top. That's it. So honestly, Canva is a great creation tool. I'm not going to sell you on why this works so well. That's just it right there. This is an awesome tool for student creation. However, they can also use it for evaluating and analyzing as well, and applying and understanding, and maybe even remembering that that's the bottom. Okay, so before we get into template previews and basic editing, I'm going to move relatively fast here, just because I'm trying to give you a preview of a really large program. So if at any point you see something you like, or see something that you're like, wait a second, did I see that? Feel free to just wave me down and I'll kind of pause there. All right, so let's talk about templates first. There are so many amazing templates in Canva Edu. We're going to just cover a few of these right here. But just so you know, these are all available templates that are essentially built for you that you can then customize. There are comic templates, posters, brochures. There are worksheets that you can make interactive for your students, newsletters. So if you're a tech coach and you want to make a newsletter for the staff, this is a super awesome way to do it. If you're a classroom teacher and you want to make one for parents, that's great as well. If you're a principal, you probably shouldn't be here because there's a sub shortage. You need to be covering the teachers' classrooms that might be here, but that's okay. There's tons of options in here. You can use it for group work. I just found out last night you can build websites. I didn't even know that was a thing. You can build websites in it. It's amazing. They just added a video feature like a month or 2 ago. So students can make videos in Canva. I'll show you a couple projects later where they can import just like short video clips. So good. Brainstorming sessions as collaborative groups, infographics. I'll show you a cool example of one that we used before that I used with my 10th grade English class when we were doing Romeo and Juliet. Infographics are awesome visual, long places to get a ton of information, but get that visual component as well. So we're going to bounce through a couple of pre-made templates and some that I've used in the classroom. And these are quick snapshots. So this is a fairly basic worksheet template. I didn't do anything with this. I just pulled it from Canva Edu. What I want you to notice about it though, is that in here, students can edit this page. You can lock all the features that are on here, but if students would like to add text to those boxes, they can. Cool thing with Canva is they can very easily add photo and video evidence as well. So you've got this worksheet, it's now an interactive worksheet. If you want students to do a recording explaining something, an audio bit explaining something, they can add those as well. So just a real simple worksheet. There are hundreds like this that you can assign to your students. Another one here, I like this because it's more collaborative. The Zoom's cutting off a little bit up top there, but ultimately you can assign this to a group of, let's say, 5 students. They can put their pictures up in those circles. They can drag where they want to go to start defining these terms and start responding. All 5 of those students can work on this sheet collaboratively. This is an example of a comic template that's up there. I did this with a 7th grade math teacher. This was explaining one-step equations. But we use the comic templates to essentially have Norman, the cat, apparently solve these one-step equations. And they're explaining their thinking here, and they're going through it. But all of these features were in Canva Edu, all of the designs of Norman the cat. There are hundreds of like independent comic artists that have contributed their work. And students get a really nice template, I'll show you soon, of all of the types of characters, and they copy paste them over. They can resize, they can add their own text, add numbers, things like that. So a great method as well. I think you can use comics across the curriculum in any form, and there's a little more customization as well. So 2 ELA examples here. This was one, like I said, I used for our Shakespeare class. This was explaining Aristotle's tragic hero using this infographic. So even just explaining like a few concepts like hamartia, the major error or flaw of the character, and then finding a character, in pop culture, they chose Harvey Dent there from Batman and kind of walked through the flaw reversal thing. But this is a screenshot of some of this infographic that keeps going because it didn't fit in my presentation, but it's a really nice form to have students explain a concept in that visual way. This right here was for an 8th grade teacher. They were teaching the book Okay for Now, and using the abstract shapes in Canva to define characters. So essentially doing abstract symbolism, and then they would actually change the colors, they would change the position here, explaining how that could relate to a character. So again, these are just a few ideas of how to do it. I just found out 3 days ago that Jamboard has templates. So these are built-in Jamboard templates in Canva Edu. You can just pull them, throw them right in Jamboard, and then students have interactives in Jamboard. Again, it's just a treasure trove of free resources. We did a project with a 9th grade social studies teacher. We were doing Teddy Roosevelt, studying Teddy Roosevelt. Students had to create memes about Teddy Roosevelt. This one is not the meme on Teddy Roosevelt, but students basically have a collection of like, I want to say 20, 25 school appropriate memes that they're familiar with, but they can edit the text. So as just a quick exit ticket at the end of the period, just be like, hey, make a meme about what we just learned and then throw it up in Google Classroom. And again, Canva has that already there. So you're not spending time having students really build or create this. You could, but these are ready to go, like exit tickets in some sense, just in a different format. Students also had to create album covers for a Vietnam project that they did. They were researching various artists, during the Vietnam era, and essentially talking about protest songs and music. And the idea of like, if you could create your own album cover, what would be something that you would protest today? What's something that you would want to see change it? So even having students, create these album covers, and this looks fancy. This is just a clip of one. That's 5 minutes. That's kind of the power of Canva Edu. These aren't like week-long projects. These are things that students can create. It's very user-friendly. Okay, so we're going to talk about fierce editing here. Canva has some really excellent editing features that I absolutely love, that I use all the time, even in my job. So I'm just going to outline a few of them for you. So even just these 2 right here are 2 of my favorites. You always have this duotone effect pop that you can do to any of your images instantly, and it's got a built-in background remover. So if you ever use green screens or want to do things with green screens, I essentially don't use them anymore when I have Canva, because I can just take a picture of myself and instantly remove the background in Canva. If I'm making like YouTube cards for my channel, or if I'm making something that I'm sending out to teachers, or even just like, things in my newsletter, I tried to sprinkle them throughout this presentation so you can see as well. So I'll walk you through a couple of these just so you can see. So I'm going to get out of the presentation mode for just a second here, just to show you how easy it is. So this is a picture of me in a gorgeous sweater, and as you can see, I have a green screen behind me to some degree. I missed this part right over here, But if I'm in Canva Edu and I click on an image and I go to the edit image section right here, just to show you all of the options that you have for editing. And there's also a bunch of really great built-in ones that they continue to add. But just one of the basic ones that I use all the time, BG Remover. If I click on that, it takes about like, I don't know, 5-10 seconds, and it's going to remove the background, hopefully, and just leave me standing there in my festive sweater. There you go. You can even see that corner where I didn't have the green screen. It still was able to recognize that. This is my buddy John. He's a guidance counselor over at our high school. We were doing a No Shave November fundraiser. And you can see that he does not have a green screen behind him, but I'm going to use that background remover as well. And Canva Edu does a really nice job of actually going through that, removing it. I can't emphasize enough. I'm showing you one quick feature here, and we want to look like we're good buddies here. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. I look unbelievably small behind it. But yeah, again, you can have a lot of fun playing with this. This looks kind of silly here. I've got he's our network admin, and he grew a mustache. But that line, do you see the little 3D effect that's going on there? How it's kind of going behind his image, things like that. That was just something I played with the other day, where there's an elements tab here in Canva Edu, and this abstract organic. There's a lot of little like hidden features that if you search certain things. So if I type in like even abstract organic lines, the amount of elements that you get here is pretty overwhelming. You can see some are animated. I can filter by animated or static here. But even taking something like this, I was like, okay, I wonder if I can get this to look like it's wrapping around his head using the crop tool in here, and kind of just like you can see there how I removed certain portions of it. Again, it's a little thing, but it's something that your students can really go to town with, especially those that maybe aren't super artistic, just drawing by hand. But from a graphic design perspective, this offers everybody kind of a level playing field of like, here's all the tools. You just like, we've already put this here. You have to arrange them in a way that is going to show some kind of meaning. So all kinds of things here. I don't want to spend a ton of time just because I want to make sure that we get to this, but we'll come back to this page if we want to take a look at some really specific, here's what else you can do with editing. But there's plenty of things in here that we can look at, plenty of things with positioning, locking things, rotating them on the page. But we'll get into that if we have some more time because we have so much to cover. So I'm going to go back into the presentation. All right, so I just want to briefly talk about app smashing, just because I feel like there are so many good uses of Canva outside of just Canva. And I'll just cover these briefly, but these are some of my favorite. We are a Google school. Canva, we use it with Google Slides all day long. Like it's pretty much if you're ever trying to up your slides game or add even things that students can move around in slides. The nice thing about Canva is you can download all of your projects in so many different formats. You can download them as transparent PNGs. If you know what that means, that's a really good thing because it essentially takes off the big square background, and now students have manipulatives that they can move around. We use it in Jamboard. We use it pretty much with everything Google. We use it in iMovie, Apple products. Giphy is a great kind of extension add with Canva. You can import Giphies into Canva and then edit them and customize them so they are like a little more in tune to what you want to do. Edpuzzle now offers Canva products pretty much. Flipgrid is offering it. Bitmoji is teamed up with them. I use it for YouTube anytime I make a YouTube video to make like more professional looking intro slides and thumbnails that my students can click on. For those that attended, if you happen to attend my Lumio session, Lumio is another product I absolutely love, but we use Canva almost exclusively just to drag all of those awesome images into Lumio. They just partnered with ThingLink. Pear Deck is also another one. Again, I don't have time to tell you about every single thing. These are just some of the ones. So if you use any of these other products, if you use Google, if you use Apple, Canva is such an awesome partner with those apps as well. Okay, so learning tab. So here's the part where if you haven't signed up, I need you to sign up because we're going to take a look at if you're new to Canva, or even if you've used Canva and you're like, I really want to get into some more detail here. Canva is one of the best apps for providing training for people to actually use Canva. So to start with this right here, If you have not signed up for Canva, please don't go to Google and type in Canva. Make sure you go to canva.com/edu sign up. Educators have the best deal in Canva ever. It essentially gives you full access to every premium feature. So in Canva, if I go to that abstract organic lines elements page, I have thousands of lines to choose from. If I'm not an educator, you're going to see some with a little crown. It's like, sorry, that's a premium feature. It costs you 99 cents to use it. If you're an educator, it's all free. When you make a classroom for your students, it's all free. So that's really what it's at. That's one of the reasons I love it so much. So I'm just going to leave this up here for a second. If you did not get in Canva yet, go to that link. It's going to ask for verification. Like about I want to say like 3 months ago, I had to upload a picture of my school ID, but now it just says, tell us the school that you're with. They don't even really push it that much. If you put in your @school district, you're going to get right in.
If you're an admin, you can get this for everyone in your district, like one fell swoop.
So yeah, it's fully accessible. So again, if you don't have it, please make sure you jump in there. Everyone good on that link right now?
I'm confused about my account. Like I'm signed in and it seems like I have a whole team of things going on here.
So do you have teachers that might have
I
signed
have
up?
staff members.
So they might have already signed up, and when your school got verified, when you signed up, you're now linked. It happened to me. So they know that you have the same email address.
Yeah.
And so you're connected.
You have a library though. It's kind of weird. It's weird. Like I have a library staff and they're under my library account, not the building account.
So there are, I'm wondering if there was somebody made a team perhaps. So we'll talk about that in a second, but ultimately once you get in Canva Edu, you'll invite your students to be part of your team and you can actually have multiple teams, like kind of like classrooms. So there's a chance maybe you got involved in that. So once we get cooking in the Explore Playground part here in a sec, I can come back and take a look at that for you too.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Learning tab, if you are in Canva Edu, and I'm thrilled if some of you are kind of poking around right now, that's great. I do want to just direct your attention to these 3 resources in Canva Edu because I can't go over everything today for sure. I'm basically involved in all 3 of these I just think they're fascinating, some of the things you can do. So I'm going to start bottom up and kind of work here. First of all, Canva, it has a YouTube channel. I love their YouTube channel. I go to it all the time for these quick 5-10 minute, hey, here's something you can try to build in Canva. And as I'm building it, it kind of gives me ideas for lessons I can do with students, again, across the curriculum where it's ooh, how can we put that into, something for a class? There are specific courses that you can take in Canva. They're all free, but, presentations to impress from the experts, graphic design basics, social media mastery, personal branding. These are just a few of the courses that you can take. They're, over the course of multiple days, you might take them. You can kind of work through them at your own pace. And then there's also the design school piece here, which just is filled with different tutorials, getting started with Canva, creating videos with Canva, Canva for Ed. That's a great one. Obviously, that's very Ed specific, but I wouldn't suggest that you just live in the Ed world because honestly, a lot of the graphic design, the branding pieces, we've pulled that into classrooms like crazy, depending on what the content area is. And it really offers a lot of personalization for students there. And it generates a lot of excitement because you're pulling in something more real world and saying, okay, now just show what you know in our content area by doing one of these types of graphic design projects. Okay, so I'm going to just briefly talk for those that, just curious, how many of you are Google Classroom people? Okay, so I don't want to take a ton of time with it since I saw about half, maybe a little less than half, but just to show you how you can share Canva work on your LMS. Again, I'm just going to go through this briefly. I'm going to pull up a Google Classroom so you can see what this looks like. But in Canva Edu, if you make something, like let's say you take one of those worksheet templates and you're I want my kids to actually get this worksheet, fill it out and turn it back into me. How do you do that? So in Canva Edu, the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner of any project. So if you open a template or if you start a new one, if you open that up, you're going to see that you can present, you can download, you can make an assignment. And again, they have right there Google Classroom as a link. You can give an assignment description and you can assign this to a specific team. So on that sign up page where I said I was only up there for a little bit, but I would recommend you build a team for either each of your classes or for all of your classes as one big team, depending how you want to grade. Canva can act as an LMS. You can assign things through Canva. Your students will be logged into Canva. They can see your descriptions and return it to you in Canva. As a Google Classroom school, we tend to like just that organization of Google Classroom. So I would recommend that I would make the assignment, but I would share it directly into Classroom so I could see how many students actually took it there. And that way I'm not kind of bouncing between LMSs, but it's totally up to you. If you're not a Google Classroom school, this is another great method for doing it as well. And if you want to make a collaborative activity, again, I'm just going to kind of share this briefly. Similar to Google Docs, you can file, make a copy, anything that you make. So let's say that there was that one collaborative activity I think I shared with you earlier. It was like a worksheet where there was 5 students. Let's say I would make a copy of that and I have 20 kids in my class. I make 4 copies, one for group 1, 2, 3. So just file, make a copy, group 1, writing activity. And then I would share a link to have them edited. So you can share links to that, you know, here's my Canva project and it's editable. So now students can go in and add text and drag things around, things like that. And you can just share the link directly. Again, I'm sharing it in Google Classroom, whatever your LMS is, you can share that link and I share that link with my 4 groups. So ultimately then I've got 4 groups working on a collaborative project. Think of it like a doc that you're sharing, but it's through Canva. Any questions about that? Does anyone, I'm more than happy to show in Google Classroom, here's how to actually add it in, but I'll keep going if we're kind of cool with that. Okay. So the project ideas, this is the part I think is the most fun, is just kind of thinking about like what kind of project can we do with Canva? I shared with you a few that we had earlier, but I want to look at a couple other ones that are actually in Canva Edu. So this is this About Me project. This is actually a template that you can go to in Canva Edu that will have all the slides available for students to create these About Me projects. And our keynote speaker this morning spoke about, About Me projects using the paper, and that's great. That totally works. This is something you can assign to students pretty much, whether it's the start of a new trimester or whether it's the start of the year, but it allows them to use the video and audio features of Canva to present something more than just like, here's a Google slideshow with 3 things. It still can look like a slideshow, but it's got a few more interactive elements. So I threw one together in 2 minutes. Sorry, it's not super impressive, but I took a quick video of myself. And then over here, it's like, okay, here's some things I like, or maybe just one thing I like, and I'm a tech coach, cool. And here's some fun facts about me. Now, this is 3 slides, but again, just the interactive feature versus that static Google slideshow, it allows students to either take stock footage that's already out there, or any of these things they could record themselves, doing something at home, a quick 5-second clip, or, a picture of their, and again, they can add all of these things in as well. So just one idea of how you can use Canva with your students in some way, even if it's just building connections. So I wanted to make sure that, I know I went a little bit fast there, but I want to give you guys some time to explore in Canva. So what I would love for you to do is take this time right now, and one of the following pieces here, feel free to check those out, whether it's just the templates. And I'm going to jump in during this explore time and kind of just show off a few templates that I like, because I just glazed over. I can't explain to you. There's so many good templates. If you want to try to record and embed video in Canva, again, that's a new feature there. Some of the editing features, I might come back to that in a little bit, because there are some cool ones that we didn't get to talk about. Designing an interactive poster. This is one you can use for any content area. It's just the idea is that, rather than taking out the paper and the markers, which that's not a bad thing, but you can essentially, design an interactive poster showing what we know. You can do that in any content area, and it's so easy to do in Canva. If you want to create an About Me project, you can search About Me in Canva, see the templates. Again, I think that works on a lot of levels. If you want to explore the Learning tab and just go through some of the tutorials right now out there, see what tutorials are out there, you might not know what all can I do in Canva. Some of those Learning tab tutorials are things that you're like, I didn't even know you could do that. I want to learn. Now I want to know how to do that. Or if you actually want to try to assign something to your LMS, that's another option as well. So I want to give us about, it's 10:25. Let's go till, I want to say 15 minutes here. I want to say 10:25 to about 10:40. And then we'll wrap up the last 10 minutes with just some share outs. If you have any ideas for, maybe your particular content area, anything you've kind of come across over these next 15 minutes. I'll just kind of float around if anybody does have certain questions, or if there's any questions in the Zoom, happy to address any of those as well. I just want to point out, I'm going to just jump back to this editing slide real quick. because there are all kinds of things being added. So even like this right here, they've added just they've added a draw data now. I don't know if you saw that, Liz, but this
Yeah,
is, you know, so now they've actually even added drawing tools directly into Canva Edu, which is cool because before it was just the images. They continue to push out new product to Canva. It just gets better and better. So again, if you want to look at editing, look at that. I'm going to just jump over to the Canva Edu home screen. And if you're like, I don't know where to get started too, templates, if you click on that, that's great. But I even discovered Canva in this create a design button. When I clicked on that, I just started scrolling and I was like, oh, wow. Oh man, we can make mind maps, Instagram posts. Okay, we can do flyers. We can do, there's so many more in here, like a ridiculous amount. This is the website. Again, they just added this. I just picked like a template up here. You can design your own websites and publish them through Canva. And again, Canva is extremely professional looking as far as it goes. So I'm going to come around, like I said, feel free to begin exploring. I'm just going to put that explore page back up, and yeah, now's a great time to just dive in, check some stuff out.
Mentioned that Canva, obviously, like you can share a link, and kids can either view it or edit links that you make.
Yep.
But you also said you use it a lot with Google Slides, which does the same thing. So what's the advantage there? What's the what's your play there?
So the difference for me is that I'm building it directly in Google Slides. I think probably that without a doubt, that was a little more professional looking.
Sure.
And I would say just higher end aesthetics.
Got it.
So if for me, especially if I'm doing, let's say that if it's a worksheet, I would say, okay, I can go
Yeah.
put it on this poster project where it's interactive or like that about the project. I think Google Slides was just as like they'll have to go to Google Drive and upload their videos there and share the link, make sure the share section. If it's in Canva, there's I'll show you. If they're in Canva, they're doing that like about me project.
This elements tab. So let's say they're in this elements tab, or sorry, the upload tab right here. They can record themselves. They have a button built into Canva, and they can upload media. So if they have something on their phone, they want to airdrop it, they just pop it in, drag it from their desktop there, or they can just say, hey, I need to, like if I go back to this about me project, like right here, okay, I need to make a quick video of, or even like something like this. If I want to add a video of something that I like to do, I could just record myself and, show me like, like going like this or something like that, if that's what I want to show. Right. So it is a little more, I want to say simplistic for being able to just, once you share it, then they have full access to all of the tools that I have as a teacher.
Got it.
So does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
And then, and I'll just show you this too, as far as the how you share and like the access that you give.
Is it kind of like Google?
It's a lot like Google, yeah. So
Rights versus editing rights?
yep. So pretty much under the share here, you have share link to edit.
Got
I
it.
can have it just a link to view. So again, this presentation, that QR code I built, which is,
And how do you?
even right here, that was one of the, that's one of the more here, right here. Yeah, you can see this QR code, which essentially takes the whole presentation, just throws there. I could link it to something else as well. And then it kind of opens in that nice window where there's no login required. It just goes right from there. But yeah, so share settings pretty much the same. And then, like I said, when students are actually in your classroom, you can see there's Microsoft Teams here. There's different LMSs. You can pull the link. But the assignment, I'm going to go back to my home screen so you can see my classwork. So this is a team. I just threw some students in. So this is what it would look like if you used Canva as more of your classroom. So here's like some templates. So that comic template we used for Teddy Roosevelt, I could take my comic template and put it in Canva and save it. This is a template for anyone on my team. So my students now, when they log into Canva and they click on Mr. Olshan's team, they'll see, oh, here's like, example, here's Arthur Morgan's tragic hero story. They can go on that and look at either samples, or they can click on it and say, hey, you want to make a copy of this template for your own use in Canva. So very similar to Google, it's just through Canva kind of deal.
So the team would be, if you don't have a Google Classroom, so if you do have a Google or.
I mean, honestly, no, I would still add my students to a team. I would almost say that, like, again, if I'm teaching 5 periods,
I don't need to have separate classes. I might just throw every kid I have, hey guys, I want you to join my Canva team, and you can just share this link. If I'm in Mr. Olshan's team, if I go to people, you can see right here, this is the invite link, so they can join Canva. Once they're in, I can also import from Google Classroom there. You can see there's, code.
But you can
But-
make groups then for your blocks or periods.
Yep. And again, some people, like most teachers that I work with, are like, I don't need another LMS right now. That feels a little overwhelming. So I recommend to them, honestly, like I just take my code, I copy it, I paste it into a Google Classroom, click it once, now they're part of my team. And anytime I have a template that I want them to join or that I want them to see, they'll see on their screen that Mr. Olshan's team in the corner. And they might see, Mr. Romano's science class, they might see other teachers that start getting in this. But any resources I have in Canva that I want to add, even if I'm making them in real time, I'll pop it in there and it's almost like a Google Drive folder that they can just access at any point.
Jonathan, can you put your QR code back up for the slide presentation?
Yeah.
Do you want to show them how to make a QR code?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's on this is kind of your main hub for doing everything. Again, you can search templates. And again, for those that are new, I'm sorry, I realize there are some people that haven't even touched Canva before, but you've got your templates that you can search right here on the left. I just think it's so user friendly. So, if I want worksheets, there's education presentations, these are all just presentations, but I don't have to search for presentations. I can search for pretty much anything. Elements, text, I love like the text fonts and things like that they have in here are pretty professional compared to some other, programs that you're using. You can customize style. We can add audio, and you can see their library that they have is pretty extensive too. So even if, again, making those quick video projects, students can just pop in audio, they can add video, and there's tons of stock video footage that's all free, that's fair to use. It's like, so that's another feature that's pretty nice. But yeah, QR code, if I click on that URL. Yeah, so I mean, I can pull from wherever. It doesn't have to be through Canva, and just generate that QR code directly in here. Super easy. Like it just feels like there's so many other web. I feel like I'm talking to you guys like teacher BFFs. Like I hope you all have one of those where like you get that personal day and everyone else is dying for, like the irate parent that wants to ban dictionaries or something in your classroom, and you're like, I have to go share this with the other another teacher. I feel like that when I'm sharing this. This is not, they're not paying me. This is 100% like, I am freaking out about this because there are so many built-in other apps and websites right in Canva. And it's not just for you, it's for your kids. So yeah, you can make cool things and say, here you go, kids. But oftentimes we're using this as, what can you guys make? Like, feel free, like students, take any of these templates, whether you want to make an album cover or whether you want to just like free draw, or whether you want to make a collage, or whether you want to make your own like restaurant menu that features items that could be, like, there's possibilities around this, essentially. So again, it's all there, it's free. Yeah.
Any idea on the integration with Schoology?
Liz, you
Yes.
might know that better
Yeah.
because you're a Schoology, like, I'll let Liz field that one.
So you can add it right to your Schoology as an app.
Yeah.
I added it for the district. So your district admin could actually add it for everybody. It appears in the left-hand like menu, and then they click it and they're in. They can create, they can do, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I just had to work with them. There's a district form that they have linked. So you just have your admin for the district fill it out. And then they basically whitelist your email address. And so that anyone from your district then who signs up, they know that email address, and it kind of pulls them into your plan.
That's a good question. Any other technical questions like that, or even just general?
I haven't been technical.
That's okay, yeah.
Technical.
Yeah.
So I travel and do STEM lessons, and I oftentimes need to develop pretty cool STEM lesson journals and things like that.
Sure.
So are they print friendly as well? Is there print functions?
Yeah, again, this is part of another reason, I mentioned earlier about like downloading the transparent PNGs, but like just to show you up top here, we're in a presentation, but I'm just going to go back to like my home screen here. And if I go to create a design, you can custom size it right here. So you can essentially set this up for whatever you want. So yeah, you can make things printer friendly for sure. Depending on, you know, if it's a poster, I think the default area 18 by 24 inches, it's completely customizable. So even if you take something like a presentation and I want to convert it into a more printer friendly option, I can make a copy of this presentation and just resize it.
It
Now,
makes it really nice in a PDF too.
yes, yeah, absolutely. And even that was something that I was like, this morning when I got in here, I was like, what if the internet dies? Like, what do I do? So I just downloaded the whole thing as a PDF just in case. And I was like, hey, we can go through it. It won't have all the, you know, GIFs and animations that are built into it, but yeah, tons of options for that. Even, and again, this is just another random plug for something else with it, but when you download, just to show you, here's a couple of the options, JPEGs. I love that you can download these as MP4 videos. So, you know, even for on Twitter, you know, I wanted to give like, hey, come to this session. You know, I took this presentation, I used Canva, I just used the screen record and essentially just went through my slides really quick, downloaded it as a video, and then it was like, oh, I'll just download it as a GIF, throw that up there as well. So it's just going through. Again, you can be super creative with it. It's just there's a lot of options for customization there and how you want to do it. And a lot of those tutorials might give you some ideas of like, oh, didn't realize I could do that. So
if you click on that GIF, what does it do exactly? Does it just do what you said it would do? It just kind of pages through all of your slides and makes a GIF out of that?
So in this one, like I think this is probably a better example to give you is if I would go to just ignore some of the things that are on your screen. There's a lot of holiday shenanigans going on.
Oh.
Guys, I have a poster of my daughter in her room with just these cats and she made it in Canva. It's just our cats 50 times. Like there's so many things you can do. Okay, maybe a better way to do it is just to create. So I'll just make a super quick one for you. So let's say we go to elements and I'm going to go in elements to type in. So you see this, we have one right here. If I wanted, I could click on the sort feature and I can just go for animated images. So I'm going to go with, let's go with this guy. So let's say that I just want a GIF of this right here that I can put in things. All I have to do is go to the download button. And even though it's acting as a video, I'm just going to change it to a GIF. I'm going to hit download. Let's say I wanted to throw that in a Google Slides presentation, drag and drop, something like that. Now it's a GIF. That's it. So it's, you know, you could record yourself doing something as a video and download it as a GIF. So yeah, it's pretty easy.
It's almost like it was made by teachers.
Yeah, it really does feel that way. I have most of my LA teachers at the high school that they're done with buying posters, especially because of the type of so just so you know, anything you make in Canva, I think that's where they are getting some of their money, is that you can buy anything that you make as a certain poster that you can hang up in your room, as a mug, a t-shirt, whatever else you want like that. I have a bunch of LA teachers that are like, I could never find, you know, a poster for whatever this book was, or at least something. So the one teacher that I'm thinking of, she had a challenge with her students. She had to design a new poster that would get kids excited for this book that was written, you know, 50, 70 years ago, whatever it was. And then the winning student, she wound up buying the poster for the class. It wound up being like $6 for the poster. And then it's up, I mean, what a cool project that is, you know? So just to, you know, throw in these 2 quotes, something about the theme again. And if anyone has any just decent, I know we're still like, again, you could probably play here for a while. Do you at least have something that you're thinking like, I could use this in my content area to some degree? I hope so. I'm seeing some head nods out there, so that's great. That's really what I want from this, is that you could at least see, okay, I can fit this somewhere, give my students an opportunity to create plenty of bells and whistles, but no strings attached, you know, so. Anything cooking in the chat list?
Just asking about integration with Schoology.
Cool. You can feel that?
Yep.
Awesome.
What's the answer to that one?
They were asking like what have like any glitches.
Yeah.
We've only had glitches when individual teachers try to do it just themselves.
Okay.
Because we were in the process of getting it for the district. So because we were already in the process, it was like, well, you're already part of this team. No, I'm not talking to you. Like, it was like, it was too much in the middle. So you kind of have to, people got excited about it.
Right.
And started adding it. So otherwise, it works really well. It opens up beautifully.
Okay.
Like, it's nice to have it within your LMS.
Yeah, again, if you're not Schoology, you're not connected in that form. I mean, our teachers would kind of just say, hey, sign up, you're making your own classroom. Yeah, you can collaborate with other teachers if you want and check out theirs, but it's kind of it's whitelisted for us. It's COPA, we're good.
Oh, yeah. And if you're making like images for your courses, like you said, Google Classroom, it has the banner.
Yes.
Schoology, the business card in
Yeah.
Canva is the exact size of the small image in Schoology. But if you want to make a ribbon image and a long Schoology course one, it's the bookmark. You can use a blank bookmark and make anything you want on it. And it comes out like gorgeous. It does.
Yeah, again, professionally, I feel like if you're looking for, if you're on Twitter and you're looking for a new banner, it's great for YouTube. It's really nice professionally for even your own branding and things like that. They have everything built to have those custom sizes. So you don't have to play with making something and then resizing it and going through that. The templates are kind of there for you just to do it.
That's a little bit. Yeah.
I am so confused, like, I used over the summer to help build elements for our website, and I use it now, which is why I'm here.
Do you know what? I'm just wondering. So this
In our district. Yeah, I'm talking to my administrator, should I have them?
is.
And send them to district website.
Do they want to get the whole steps?
So
They can actually do that through standard authentication and then so if you type in into your Google or Safari, whatever you're using,
So,
you put
so
in
this right here.
Canva for districts.
You somehow something. Even though you're on the. You still are.
And they say the administration. That one.
Does that make
And then
sense?
So then that's
Kind of
what
sign
we're
it
going
through the district.
So like basically what you do is
One
sign
that
in.
matter that I already signed up for is like you was showing us today.
Oh, that's my job, right?
So like.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you.
Which doesn't.
Stuff, and then.
Yeah, totally. So this is essentially how you're doing it, right?
And then they work it out. And then.
So if you're like, hey, I
As
want
soon
to
as
make
that's
this
for school generation that.
So this is.
And then if I want them to integrate with Schoology,
That's what they get.
That's
That's
so that would-
it's called a super key.
then that would be.
It's a shared secret, and like a key.
Yeah.
They get that and then the administrator will have them screenshot what I did is that
But this is still your.
you go on and fill it and say for everybody in the district. And then it
This
pushes
is
it
all
out.
your stuff.
Okay, like when I go through Schoology and I go to external tool provider, usually like I see, so that means they need. to
They,
go through
yep,
that
so
system.
when I put those in, I say, it's for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
No, no, it's good. I guess for people that are not on Schoology, they could still have that access.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, I would say,
That's kind of.
Mhm. Yeah.
now I signed in with two
Well,
things
no,
that I
okay,
the option is to continue
Is your
through.
school email?
We do not use our school email tools, but we have Google Suite for everything else.
Is it 2 separate emails?
Yeah, we have.
This is the one.
So it's different, because our Google is at PASD.us, and then our Outlook is PASD.us.
So then, even if he uses the.
So you can rename
To sign in, you can still go in and use it. I have like, they send the questions, because I guess it's like, hey, teacher, that's not the point.
So you can create a moment when something you want to do.
So anything you make,
Yeah. It's not going, it just might be on two different
Just have to
accounts.
link it.
Move the topic, yeah, okay. Oh, but you
You
can
can
link them?
share, if they're linked, then you
Yeah.
can share with your students. So then, you just move that to-
Yeah.
It'll just be like, I don't need that.
But it's, I will say,
Thank you.
it's pretty user friendly once you guys.
Yeah.
So you're already created with this. Go ahead and type it. Yeah, so you'll still like, that's kind of what Sarah is. Sarah can create whatever she wants. She's still live in her house. But if at any point she wants to like add it to, you have like, you might be like, okay, here's something like that. You want me to add to the folder? But it's like Google Drive. They go and see everything in my Google Drive account unless I share it. Then that's all. Yep. And it works the same with students. Like you could, if you don't want your kids to see it, they're not gonna see it. But
I have a student that was, I don't want to give you part of it, and I can't think it all.
so if you go to the theater, this is where you can
I just
see
moved to like,
your
we built our website for the summer. Basically scratch.
So wait, is the least part of this or is this? So he might have to delete that shell, because if it's his team, it's essentially his account. So I don't, think so either like someone here is like tech admin, or he would have, like, I would, if it was like myself, I would go in as a student. Incognito or something, and just go and be like, yeah, someone created this, like sometimes on the kids actually create like a, they're the teacher of the class or something like that. And it's like, no, you're not doing that. So yeah, it would have to be under his account. That, then if you go to the gear for him, you'll see the delete option.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Liz, what are we setting that time here, just for the recording?
It's till 10:50, correct, or 10:55?
I think it's 10.
So you have 3 minutes.
Okay. For the good of the group, since we have 3 minutes left, I just want to say thanks for attending. Again, if you want to connect at all, or if you have Canva Edu questions, I really enjoy talking about it with folks and like even brainstorming ideas. So if you want to, direct message me at Twitter, feel free to. My email is jolshan@warwicksd.org as well. I don't have that up there, but Twitter is probably a better way to get in touch with me unless you're at Warwick. Again, if you liked anything you saw too, feel free to tweet it out, IU13 STC. Thank you so much for attending. We still have a minute or two, so if there's any other questions in the chat or any questions for the good of the group or amazing epiphanies that you've had or ideas how you can use it, feel free to share it out.
We
in
have
chat.
something in our chat.
Uh-huh.
So if there's time, can you show how you lock certain sections of a worksheet?
Mhm.
But does that feature work on other templates too? She wrote, don't worry about it. I'll search on YouTube.
So just to answer that super quick though, yeah, there's a big old lock button in the upper right-hand corner when you're editing something. So
It's a little padlock.
it's a padlock. So if you have something that you don't want students to be able to drag and move, so a lot of those interactive worksheets, yes, I want them to move that profile picture of themselves so they can claim their spots, but I don't want them to move the title or my headings there. You just click on those and click the padlock and you're good to go. Yep.
That's what we got. That's it.
Yeah, super easy. Anything else? All right, thanks so much for attending, everybody. I hope you, I should probably give the closing before you stop. Sorry, there's an official closing here. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to share your learning using the social media hashtag IU13STC as you attend sessions. A reminder that all conference attendees who attend the closing session at the live conference are eligible for some great prizes. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.